very good morning and welcome back to Planica. We're waiting for the start of the junior 10 kilometer time trial, which is slightly different format from the one we've been seeing over the last couple of days. Mass start yesterday, over 20k for the under 23s. It's damp conditions here in Planica. It was forecast for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We just had our fingers crossed that it wouldn't turn out that way. Well, all the teams dressed up, and I suspect there'll be one or two changes just before the start. So they start the race in dry clothes at least. You can see the warm-up area on the base of the ski jumping hill, the ski flying hill, I should say, where they do jumps of over 250 meters. It is absolutely massive. You have to see it to believe the scale of it. And no jumpers going off today, and it has been put aside for a little bit of ski testing. One or two timing ones there, just checking up on the best skis to use. I think we know for sure that you need a decent structure in the base of the ski if they're going to run well. Here's the start list for today. Steiger of Switzerland will go first. Milbach, who was disappointed, must have been disappointed with his performance in the 20k. He is, though, he's a youngster, but he's already decided that the long distance is for him. And when I say long distance, I mean 70, 80k. The Wasser, he'll have his eye on that. He's already finished in the top 10 at the age of 16. He's a bit of a phenomenon. Further down the order, some of the skiers may not feature too much today, but they'll all get their 30 seconds of fame when they come out of the start gate. Matyankov of Bulgaria going at 12:02, so he's got a little bit of a gap. Just a reminder, we're on Central European time, so take an hour off those times, the starting times, if you're watching in the UK. Campbell of USA. The USA been impressed with what they've done so far. It's been a good championships for them, and there could be more to come. Great to see Canada getting a gold with Sandra Schmidt, and Dora a gold, a silver and a bronze, all from the same lady. It's been an absolutely phenomenal effort, and I think everyone delighted to see Gina Del Rio going so well. She's picked herself up a silver today in the 10k classic, and in her interview afterwards, I think she was absolutely delighted with that, and thought actually it was one of her best races, although she didn't take the gold, which she did in the sprint. So she's proved that not only is she a good sprinter, she's good over the distance, and she can do both styles, which at this day and age, if you want to compete in series, you've got to be good at both classic and freestyle. So normally you'd see the skiers out nice and early, but I think they've all been hiding from the rain over the last 10 minutes or so. There is Steiger, who's going to be the first away. Milbach wearing 2. What are we going to see from him today? He's still only 17, and yeah, he had a top 10 place in the Italian locket race that finishes in Val di Fassa. What was he, 9th in that, over 70,000 meters, so 70 kilometers, and he looked very comfortable in that. Just, I think, lacking a bit of speed. When the speed picked up in the race 2 days ago, he just couldn't match the likes of Jürgen Nordhagen, but then again, nor could anyone else. And there was quite a good battle, to be honest, for the minor places. Artusi of Italy and Gio of Italy getting the silver and the bronze in that event. And while we wait for the start of the 10 kilometer, let's just run you down the medal table. Norway, who won it last time in Whistler, are on top again with 3 golds. But equal second, we have Sweden, no surprise there. Italy, good to see them coming up. And then Andorra, equal second in the medal table. How about that? A gold, a silver and a bronze for them. So the first starters underway, and we'll be able to get some time splits. Steiger and Milbach have gone. This should be Nordhagen, the winner of the 20k. If he shows us anything like he did in the 20k, then he's going to have an easy win. He won by 2 minutes 11, but there is nothing to him. He's skin and bone, but his technique in the freestyle was absolutely superb, very Klebo-esque, and I'll be interested to see how his classic is today. Looking at the results over the last 12 months or so, there's no doubt that he's generally 10 places or so higher in the freestyle races than he is in the classic. But I certainly wouldn't bet against him today. I was so impressed with what he managed to do in that 20k. Destroyed the field and made his break when he was out of sight of the camera. This is David Gio of Italy. He's already got himself a bronze medal in that 20. Can he double up today and take Italy's tally above 3? Italy with a gold, a silver and a bronze so far. And Gio, every chance comes from Rocavioni, which is just, I think it's just north of Nice, right down in that western corner, northwest corner of Italy. Beautiful, beautiful area. Lars Hagen, another man with a gold medal to his name already from these championships, took the gold in the sprint event on the first day. He's a pretty good time trialist, actually. We saw him out in Whistler last year in the junior championships, got a 10th place in that event, and yeah, I think he's going to be in the running. We will see. Certainly, if you were with us during the women's race, Ian Woods on commentary duty for that one, you will have noticed how the top seeds all went early, as in this race, but a big advantage for those starting around 10, 11, 12, because they knew exactly what they had to do to get into the top positions, and it was yeah, an impressive run. Sweden getting their first gold. Number 7, Iritus from the Czech Republic. He'll have half an eye on the Biathlon World Championships, which are taking place in Novo Mesto this week and next week. And they've got the women's sprint today, if you're interested in that. Away goes to, he's chasing Isaia Neff of Switzerland, who's one of the top juniors in Switzerland. Anton Gran, now, can he get himself another medal? He took the silver in the sprint, I think, really didn't quite get the pacing right. I thought he was going to take it, but his first round in that sprint event, the first knockout round, was far too fast, and I think he was probably 3 seconds quicker than he needed to be to qualify, and I'm not sure he ever recovered before the final, but he still got himself a silver medal. Today I suspect he'll be a lot better than the 34th we saw in the 20k. Danielsson of Sweden underway, chasing his teammate out of the gate. Here he is, 17th 2 days ago in the 20k. Comes from Hugbo, which is just to the east of Falun. It's probably a couple of hours drive north of Stockholm. It's a cross-country skiing intensive area. Plenty of tracks, great races, good place to sort of situate yourself at the start of the winter. Lots and lots of races to choose from, and the terrain is perfect for cross-country. Generally, if you're after early snow, you've got to go north and you've got to go inland. Get away from the sea. They do tend to be the coldest places as well. I know they get down around -50. It's astonished to hear that all the school kids still go to school, but when it's below -30, they have to have an adult take them to school. I mean, that's absolutely astonishing. So through the first checkpoint, don't read too much into this one, other than the fact if someone is way faster than everyone else, and Milbeck has done just that. Wow, he's taken a lot of time off Steiger, but Steiger, not quite sure why he was starting first. He was only third in the National Junior Championships over 30k Classic, but he's got bib number 1, Milbeck number 2. And Milbeck, is he going to get the best conditions? Quite possibly, quite possibly. Jack Lang of USA underway, and he's a better freestyle skier, I think, as we have a look at Nordhagen. He's going to double up on the gold. Nordhagen has he gone through the first split? He has. He's already 6 seconds down on the leader. Slightly surprising. Gio of Italy, he's going to be outside Milbach's time. Milbach, I think, on a mission here, or is this him showing the fact that he's not very experienced at the sort of traditional race distances? As I mentioned, he has decided his career is all about distance racing. Up to 1.9. And 24 seconds outside already. Wow. This is something special. If Milbach can keep this going. Here comes Nordhagen. Yeah, he's slipping a little. Now, if the conditions are difficult, if there's one team that's going to slip, it does tend to be the Norwegians. The less wax you put on, the faster your skis go on the downhill. So it makes sense to wax light. But if you're slipping, you lose so much time, so much energy. Multi for Italy from Premia, which is an interesting place. It's a sort of little spit at the north of Italy. To the east you have Switzerland, to the west you have Switzerland, to the north you have Switzerland, only to the south you have your own country. It's an interesting part of the world. And Multi, he's done well so far, 7th in the 20K. This is Yuri Tuz, Czech athlete. He's got to finish today. He didn't finish the 20K. Quite a few athletes pulled out. Over half the field were taken out because they were lapped. It was a 3.3 kilometer course. They were lapped by Nordhagen. And I think 52, I think we had 52 finishers out of 99 starters. That is how devastating the pace set by Nordhagen was. And he crossed the line. He looked as though he'd done absolutely nothing. Now this is Gran, up to the 1.9 kilometer stage. He's the only one within 10 seconds of Milbach at the moment. And Gran, obviously the teammate of Milbach, so those two will know exactly what they can do. Gran actually comes from Mora, which is the finishing town for the Vasaloppet, the biggest cross-country ski race in the world. And that takes place on the first Sunday of March every year. 90 Ks, I think they have over 50,000 people involved. It used to be a one-day event, now it's a whole week. It's a festival, and you have to get your entry in probably 2 years ahead in advance. It's that's one of the big problems of these massive popular events. 19 seconds adrift for Danielsson of Sweden. That's quite a big margin. It's a big margin. They're going at about 24, 25 kilometers an hour. Back down to the start, and Bazarbekov from Kazakhstan trains at the Winter Sports Olympic Training Center, so I'm assuming he spends most of his life in Almaty. Kazakhstan, still their most successful, most famous athlete. I think it still has to be Vladimir Smirnov. They've produced a couple of really good classic skiers over the year. 21. Kushihashi for Japan. Nice to see the Japanese are here in numbers. It's good to see. Takizawa is already underway. He started number 11, and I think we could see something decent from him. 22 is Kalibekov, another of the Kazakhs, and starting exactly a minute behind Bazarbekov. So that is who he'll get his early splits off. I don't think it's much good giving him a split off Milbach, the race leader, because once you're more than 30 seconds behind it, it only acts as a sort of negative influence. You really want to be told that you're within 2 or 3 seconds of someone, or if your coach has worked out that you're a better leader than you are chaser, maybe they'll give you a split as someone who's just 2 or 3 seconds behind, especially if you've got a particularly strong rivalry with one of the other athletes. Akita, 19-year-old from Japan, didn't see him in the sprint, but he did race in the 20K and got himself a top 20, which at Junior World Championships level is very, very impressive. Last Winter Olympics in Japan back in 1998, Nagano. Yeah, well-run games. Some cracking races there. The days of Bjorndali and Oleana Bjorndalen in the biathlon. Neumann in the women's cross country. Yeah, it was a great period. Marit Bjørgen must have been there. So Milbach has just built an incredibly good lead over the early stages, 9 seconds ahead at 1.9 kilometers, and his lead at the moment, he's gone through 4K and he's leading Hagen, who was the sprint winner, by 21 seconds. I'm just waiting for an indication that that time is coming down, but no one able to match number 2 as yet. Alvar Milbach, there he is, and he goes past Nicholas Steiger at 5.2K. Well, Steiger's responding well, must say. Now, has Milbach decided to double pole the whole thing? I haven't seen him take a stride as yet. In these conditions, that might not be a bad call, and it might explain why he got such a good lead over the early stages of this race. 9 seconds clear of Gran, going through 1.9. So that's interesting tactics. 17, that's Charlie Dufik. Well, Milbach is 33 seconds ahead of Steiger, and yeah, he's just been slowly building that lead, and he got a good chunk of that lead early on. Steiger, what was he, 16 seconds down by 1.9, so yes, he's still pulling ahead of him. No one else going back to the 700-meter mark. Tuz is in second place. He had a very quick start as well, but he started to fall behind. He lost 11 seconds on the second kilometer, having matched Milbach over the first 800 meters. He is paying a price for that early burst. Through goes David Gio, and regular top 3 athlete in the Alpine Cup events. There he is, wearing number 4, and he's got company on this lap. I don't think it'll take too long before he goes past Bazarbekov. Thought for a moment we had our second wax-free athlete, but no, Gio switches into what is either known as two-phase or diagonal gait. Just about every language has its own name for each technique, which can get a little bit confusing. But what you're trying to do is, you've got, for those of you that haven't seen this before, you've got the grit wax under the ski, and the wax wants to be just a tiny bit softer than the snow crystals. And the problem is that with temperature variations and the age of the snow, the sharpness and the strength of the snow crystals changes, which is why you have to have a box of wax the size of a trunk if you're always going to find the perfect wax. It's not easy. Many just opt to look over their shoulder at someone who looks as though they know what they're doing. Knife goes through, 37.9 seconds, And that is a big margin. I thought today might be the day he gets on the podium. He's had a 4th and a 5th so far. He's been very, very close in terms of time. Milback through the stadium at 6.6. He's got one more lap to go. And, well, he's now leading the way. So he's a little fortunate that the rest of the athletes out on the track. So it's not as if he's in fresh tracks. And with this snow, with the lack of snow, it's been rain for the last 4 hours. I don't think too much of a disadvantage leading. Were it fresh snow, then it would definitely hinder his chances. Dufik from the Haut-Rhin region, and tall man. I think we'll see the best from him. I think we see the best from everyone, sort of between 25 and late 20s. Many of the top athletes now, those who are making a living from the sport, can certainly produce world-class performances at in their mid-30s to late 30s. Andy Musgrave, Great Britain's #1, and at the start of this season, just about the only athlete on the tour who could contend with the strength of the Norwegians. Nordhagen going through. Well, he's getting a little bit of his own medicine today, isn't he? Having destroyed the field in the 20K, he finds himself 47.5 behind at 6.6K, and that puts him into 3rd place. Steiger is at 38, so Steiger of Switzerland's actually having a good run. He was 50th in the 20K, and here he is, pretty much the only one at the moment. I'll keep you informed as to whether that changes. Just looking at Steiger at 6.6 is 38 seconds behind. The timing's all changing a bit by bit. Well, you would have expected Hagen to match Steiger. Is he going to manage that? Last time we saw, he was 5 seconds down on the Swiss athlete, and he's, I think he's a little bit closer. 36, 37, 38. No, he's going the other way. So 49.3 behind 6.6, 1K, 1 lap to go. He is not going to make that up as we have a look at Lars Hagen. There he is. It's good, usually pretty good at the time trial event. Finished 10th in the classic race in Whistler last year. Matti Holvek was the winner of the classic race in Whistler last year. It was a 50, was it a 20K or a 30K? I think it might have been a 30K. No, it was 20, but it was a long 20. That's right. It was a long 20, which is why the times were at around the 53-minute mark. In other words, it wasn't 20, it was closer to 21.5, 22. Yeah, I think it's much better to get a good course, a well-designed course, rather than agonize over the exact meterage. There are no records in terms of time on these tracks, simply because the conditions ultimately determine what speed the athletes are going to go at. As we watch Anton Gran, he is struggling as well. Well, Milback is going from strength to strength here. No one at 6.6 has got within 38 seconds of him. And Anton Gran, who must have started today thinking that a medal was possible, is going to be a decent distance behind. So Milback leads. Steiger of Switzerland is being taken to a really, really good result. He's in 2nd place at 6.6, with Nathan 3, Nordhagen the winner of the 20 in 4, Hagen the winner of the sprint in 5, and Anton Gran, who was the silver medalist in the sprint, down in 6. So it's Sweden leading. We've actually got 3 Swedes in the top 7. Further back, let's go to the first lap and see if there are any late starters. Well, Mona Melby, certainly a man worth watching. He's at 18 seconds behind, having started number 25. and he's the best of those starting in Group 2. Tobias Ganner of Austria, not going badly, 14th position at 3.3. And let's now pick up on one of the German, is this Moosmeyer? I think it may be. Moosmeyer starting 26. No Germans in the top 30, am I right in saying that? I can hardly believe it. Yesterday, no, I'm not quite right, but not far off. We had Stolben 26, Dirks 27, and then we had Marius Kastner at 42. So I think the Germans will be a little bit concerned, especially when their cross-country skiing been going pretty well. Niklas Steiger, is he going to get himself a medal, having started number 1? He's gone double pole crazy at the moment. Nordhagen just finding the central feudal forces just a little bit too strong. He looks to have picked up the pace, but I don't think the 19-year-old is going to be able to match our race leader, Milbach, who's gone through 8.45. He has got, he's got just under 1.5 kilometers to go. He'll be closer to the kilometre, I think, than the 1.5 kilometers. And his time's still very, very impressive. He's got a 50-second gap. 17 with a lap still to go is Dufik of France. And that's handy for Jürgen Nordhagen in red, wearing 3. Nordhagen with someone to chase. This is when his technique comes through. He's gaining good ground on Dufik just by smooth skiing on that uphill section. This is Isai Neff. Now, he was in bronze medal position going through 7.3, and if he can turn it on a bit, he's only 2 or 3 seconds down on his teammate Steiger, who started number 1. Yeah, difficult for Steiger to be able to judge the pace of this one. He's not getting the information that those starting just a little bit later will be getting. Oh, you have to sympathise for the organisers. The weather forecast, which we've obviously been keeping a fairly close eye on all week, has been pretty miserable. Yesterday we saw some nice blue skies, but the forecast for Friday, Saturday, Sunday was rain, temperatures between 4 and 8 degrees above 0, so it's an absolute disaster as far as the tracks can go. And guess what? They have beautiful conditions coming next week. Sunshine Monday through to Sunday, and the temperatures at night are going to drop down to -7, -8. It's just bad luck. But here comes Milbach, and this could be the performance of the day. It's not often that number 2 wins a race, but it may well be the case today. 23.05, and I think he knows he's done enough. That more than makes up for his disappointing 6th in the 20K. They put a lot of pressure on this young man. He's only 17, so he's got another couple of years at this level of racing if he chooses to do it. In comes Steiger, Switzerland looking for yet another medal. It's been a brilliant championships for them, 3 so far. They've got a gold and 2 bronze. And although Steiger is a minute down, he is still in 2nd spot at the 6.6, and no one else has gone through 2 laps being able to challenge him, but his margin is 3 seconds over his teammate Neff, and he's got a lead of something like 8 or 9 seconds over Nordhagen, who'll be in pretty shortly. Well, Nordhagen is going to have to go some. Last time we saw him, he was at 54. He was still 4 seconds down, so he'd made up half the margin. He had to make up 8.5 seconds. What is it going to be? The minute mark is what he's after, and it could well be worth a medal. Nordhagen down in 6th place at the moment, going through 5.15. So at the halfway marker, he is a long way off, but here he is coming into the finish. 1 minute is his target time to go ahead of Steiger. I think he's going to do it by fractions. Oh, what a fantastic finish from Nordhagen. We saw it in the 20K, how strong he is, and he's got a fabulous racing mind on him. 59.7, he gets a second inside, so taking 10 seconds out of Steiger over the last 2K. That takes some doing. So that reduces the Swiss athlete's chance of medaling. but it's not completely gone, because at the halfway stage, Steiger is still in the second medal spot. 24 is Rigadou from Italy. I think that's how you pronounce it. You'll appreciate that many of these names we've not seen before, and it's not really until they get to the World Cup that we're mentioning them week after week. 26, that is Philipp Musmeyer of Germany. Comes from Leutkirch. 5, we're waiting for Lars Hagen coming in. 6 is Isai Neff. Now, Neff, I think, has a chance of going into second spot. Going through 8.45. He was in second spot, and I think he's going to hold on to that. He will, and Nordhagen's down a 3, and his teammate Steiger is out of the medals already. Brilliant finish from Isai Neff. Well, that's fantastic. So Milbach leads, Neff in 2, Nordhagen in 3, looking to add a bronze to the gold he got 2 days ago. Steiger now missing out by a second on 4th place. Hagen down in 5, so a good run of results from Hagen. A win in the sprint. He's sitting 5th at the moment. I think top 10 is probably going to stand. And Isai Neff, who's had a 4th and a 5th, he has suddenly got himself into 2nd place. If there's one athlete out here who deserves a medal, it is him. And you can see that smile. It's a nervous one. He won't start celebrating quite yet, because he will know that there are a couple of athletes who started after him that are a threat. Anton Grahn started 8. Is he going to get any closer? Last time we saw Grahn, he was at 118. I don't think he's going to be making up that sort of margin. No, I can't see anyone at the moment. Philip Skar is not having a bad run for Norway. He was at 121. This is Mons Melby. Now, this is important because Melby started late. He's going through 6.6. Last time we saw Melby, he was in 3rd. And so his target is Jürgen Nordhagen. He might keep Nordhagen off the podium. Melby still in 3rd at 6.6. We'll pick him up again at 7.3. And of the later starters, he's doing the best. Not a bad run from Leysou of France, who is in 13th position early on. He started number 33. He's yet to go complete his 2nd loop. Elias Danielsen, 135 down, and I'm not sure he's going to improve too much on his 17th place in the 20k. Tuz, who was equal fastest over the first 800 meters, pays a big price, a 2-minute 43 second price for going too fast early on. But always give someone credit for trying, always give someone credit for digging deep. Unless you try it, you don't know. That's Anton Grahn. Hasn't done much racing this year. Did look really good in the selection races for these championships, but hasn't really done so much since the late summer. Did a bit of roller skiing. Thomas Emilio Wagner of Germany. Buschek, the best German 2 days ago. And he's at 2:07. That's quite a big margin. So no change in the top 3 here in Planets. Milbach of Sweden, the up-and-coming star. Yeah, I was slightly underwhelmed by his 20k performance, but I must say today he's been outstanding. And 10 seconds quicker than virtually everyone over the opening kilometre and a half, and Milback has just kept it going. He's got a lead of 52 seconds. So at junior level, extraordinary. 2 minutes 11, the margin between 1 and 2 in the 20k, and at the moment we've got a 52-second margin between 1 and 2 in the 10k. Skari, the son of Benta Skari, who I mentioned yesterday, and that's not a bad run. Not a bad run. He's had a good sequence of results. 4th in the 20, 8th Skari was in the sprint event on day 1, and currently lying in 5th place. And I think Skari is almost guaranteed a top 10. We'll have to wait, but I don't think there are that many athletes out there that are going to push him down. All the Norwegians finishing strongly, but it's Milback who leads, and no one is going to touch his time. I'd like to see some slow-mo of Milback, because I do not remember a time when I saw the Clairvaux Clop. It's got its way to junior level. Gabriel Multi looking pretty good. Never easy to move the skis at that cadence without crossing over the tips. First saw it, who can remember when we first saw it? Was it 2017 in Lahti at the World Championships, when Johannes Husford Clairvaux absolutely stunned the world with his sprinting speed, particularly in the team sprint event. Yeah, still feel sorry. I think it was Iversen. He was Iversen of Norway, who he was teamed up with, who would lose 3 or 4 places, and Clairvaux would gain them back on each round. If you remember, in the sprint, they all go around 3 times in the team sprint event. No team sprint here. We've got a tomorrow is all about the 10k again for the under 23s, so they'll be doing the same time trial, and then on Sunday, the last day of these championships, there is a mixed relay, and I had a look at all the results yesterday. It's a difficult one to call. You know, the Norwegians, in terms of medals, are quite a long way ahead, so we'll put them as favourites. But I think Sweden can field an incredibly strong men, and of course Sweden getting a win in the juniors event earlier on today. So they are there, and Dora do not have a big enough team to challenge. It's such a shame with the success they've had. But France have a chance. Italy, I think, have a chance. I don't think Germany do. Switzerland, they've got a good chance. They've had some really good performances in both men and women's, and at the moment they've got 2nd and 4th here in this junior men's 10 kilometre. Alder goes into 10, just ahead of Gio, who started early, number 4. Well, let's go back, and some of the big names have gone through 6.6 now. Milback still leading there. Steiger, who started 1, in 2nd place, and Melby is in 3rd. So there's no doubt, there is absolutely no doubt that Steiger fed off Milback when he came through. Maybe Mulback, actually. So we'll do a bit more research on his name. Loads to find out about these youngsters as they come through. I think there's more press coverage about Milback than most, to be honest. Nordhagen got his 20 seconds of fame on Norwegian TV 2 days ago after winning the 20k, and certainly a lot of commentators concerned that he's going to abandon cross-country skiing and go straight into cycling. '44 is Samuel Picard. 107 starters in all, so we've got a long way to go. Just try and give you an idea of where we stand. Has everyone started yet? Not quite. We've still got quite a few to go off the start line. Canada's Picard. Now Mulby into the finish. He's been making a big impression on the way round, and Nordhagen at 59 is going down. He's gone, he's achieved it. He was in third at halfway. He was still in 3 after 2 of the 3 laps completed, and Melby has pushed himself up into the bronze medal position. He may not have been happy that he was starting some 10-15 minutes later than his teammates, but he has taken full advantage of the time splits that he's had on the way round. He started fast. He was what, 2 seconds down at 700 meters, so not quite as rapid as Milbach out of the start. But then by the time he went through 3.3, he was up into the medal positions, and he's kept that solid all the way through. Naif went ahead of him between 6.6 and 7.3. He would have certainly got the splits on that. And actually, by 8.45, Melby was back down into 4th position. But Steiger is the one who's tired over the closing stages. And Steiger dropping down now into 5th place. So Milbach of Sweden leads. Naif of Switzerland is in 2nd place. Melby of Norway in 3rd, ahead of his teammate Nordhagen, who misses out on his 2nd medal. And Niklas Steiger of Switzerland in 5. Philip Skari of Norway in 6. And Gran of Sweden in 7. Just 3 nations represented in the top 9 positions at the moment. And even going back, we've got Italy with Gabriele Multi, who started 15. He's lost a little bit of time in the closing stages. He's the next best, down in 10th position at the moment. So Sweden, Switzerland and Norway, the 3 teams looking really good. And I guess add Italy to that lot, and we've got a very, very exciting mixed relay on Sunday. Through the 5.2 for Pavek. .35, Nicholas Schmidt. You'll recognise the German ski suit. Comes from Meyerhofen, which is better known for its Alpine skiing. Not sure what the conditions are like there this year. I think the whole of Europe having an up and down season, massive snowfalls, and then 3 or 4 days of warm weather and rain, which is just destroying the snow base. Trey Jones for the USA. Now, we haven't seen much of the Americans so far today. Finn Redman of Canada at the back of that little group we've just seen. This is Mati Karnov from Bulgaria. Powerful looking style, akin to what we used to see from the Russians. A little bit more forward lean in the upper body. Quite a few of the athletes reduced to double poling. Some will have decided that that was the way to go today. Still not sure whether Milbach had any grip wax on. We didn't see a lot of him on his way round, to be honest. He started so early, and in the time trial, you nearly always focus on the start. So we see everyone out of the start gate, which is absolutely right. But by the time the top seeds, the first group were underway, Milbach was almost coming into the finish. That's the way it is with the time trial. Now, that is not bad from Renaud of Denmark. That's a pretty good pace that he's set. That's at 700 meters. The Dane is only 14 seconds down. Now, a bib number we need to look out for is number 50, Ilmaz. He's making a bit of an impression out there from Turkey. He's gone through 5K, so he's kept his pace going for half the distance so far. He's gone through 5K and he's only a minute down off the race leader. That is very, very impressive. Yeah, top 15 position at the moment. That would be great if he could maintain that. Whereas Campbell for USA at 150, going through 3.3. Yeah, a chasm in class between the early starters and those we're going to get at the back. I think we'll have a massive range. I'd be surprised, even over just a 10-kilometer distance, I'd be surprised if the difference between the fastest and the slowest today was not over the 10-minute mark. Therapeutic sound of falling raindrops, cameraman's nightmare, and the crew here have done an amazing job. Conditions yesterday, just about every cameraman was having to clean or change the lens. So much humidity. 75 for Petrovic from Slovenia. Nicely balanced on the ski, very smooth action of his. Yeah, off come the glasses. Can't see anything at the moment. At least he can blink when the rain gets in his eyes. And he's looking quite comfortable at the moment. Samuel Picard for Canada. Canada, the host nation last year in the Junior World Championships, and put on a great show. Tracks obviously used for the Olympics back in 2010. Seems like yesterday. 2010, 14 years ago, when Canada, what was their motto? Own the podium. And they pretty much did. By the end of it, they were almost embarrassed they were having so much success. Ralph Kivil of Estonia. Lauenberger for France. How is this looking? I must say, they look more fatigued after 10K than they did after 20 in the freestyle. Those lucky enough to be turning left are, I think, coming to the end of their run. They are. And this is Cormier, another of the Canadians. He too is 2.5 minutes adrift. We only have 14 athletes, not even that, 13 athletes within 2 minutes of the race leader. And the time gaps are getting bigger and bigger. We've got a couple of DNSs. Tobiasen of Denmark didn't start. Frode Himmer of Iceland didn't start either. We've not heard why. We had a couple of DNSs yesterday. We had a couple of DNFs. We had quite a few lapped athletes. So far, 40 athletes across the finish line, which would suggest that a couple more may have withdrawn, and we don't have news of that. 75 still got a way to go for Bor Petrovic. Saw him up on the top part of the course, was looking very good. 3.3, 1 of 3 laps completed. Heading forward, Thiago Silva from Brazil. It's come all this way, entered every race so far, and really enjoying his experience here in Slovenia. I'm not sure where they ski in Brazil. Argentina of the South American countries, the one with certainly more alpine resorts than anyone else. Well, he's looking pretty good at the moment. Technically, we have seen a lot worse than that. So Silva going pretty well, and I think he'll be able to stay within 10 minutes of the leader. We've got a 4.5 minute gap between number 1 and number 40 at the moment, so maybe I'll be wrong with my 10-minute prediction between the front and the back of the field, but we do have quite a few of the minor nations starting late on. Still trying to keep an eye open to see if anyone is coming through from the back of the field. Nicholas Schmidt, we talked about, started 35. He's finished his run already. Number 50 we were trying to pick up on because Ilmaz of Turkey skied the first section really well. And he should be in pretty soon, I think, as we watch Pitkänen of Finland. No Finns in the top 10. The first of the things is Mäkinen, I think, down in 23rd position at the moment. Spaukst from Latvia. Bergqvist, another of the Finns. He started just 30 seconds down on his teammate Lancelutu. Still looking out for the Turkish colours. I think Ilmaz will be in red. And still they start. We're getting towards the back end of the start list here. Jaka Marinko from Slovenia. So, local man, and an opportunity for him to make a little bit of a name for himself. Planica, incidentally, not far from Kranjska Gora, which I'm sure alpine skiers amongst you will know. Right up in the Julian Alps. Is one of the most stunning venues that the Nordic circuits go to. Absolutely stunning. And of course the venue for the World Championships last year, the Klæbo show. Yeah, not far from Italy, not far from Austria. It is very, very well positioned indeed. And the fresh snow that was on the ski jumping hill at the start of the week wiped out with all the rain last night. And I suspect there'll be precious little left when it comes to Sunday afternoon. Sigh of relief from the race organisation if they manage to get everything underway. Pavel Brija, incidentally, they're having issues over in Canmore, which is where the World Cup is taking place this week. They've got races this evening, if you're in Europe, and they've had to change them from a time trial to a mass start. I think they had to make the loop so short that it made sense only to have a mass start rather than have everyone out on the a time trial course together. Petrovic, and still no sign of number 50. I was hoping, oh there he is, he has finished. Ilmaz has finished of Turkey, and he's sitting in 27th position. That is pretty good. Yeah, and he's the highest or the latest starter of all those in the top 30 at the moment. This is Wilmot of the USA. Is he going to go top 50? He does for now. He does for now, just ahead of... it's hard not to say Tom Jones, but it's actually Trey Jones. So no more medals for the Americans today. They actually don't have anyone in the top 10. Jake Lang is the best of them. He's in 20th position, 220 off the leaders. Lang started fairly early. He's the national junior champion over 10 kilometer freestyle. That was a mass start event, so a very different kettle of fish. The time trial classic, and his freestyle is best. There you see the order of the top 10. Milbach has got this one, 23.05. No one's getting anywhere near that. And actually, I would say that the medalists are safe. Nath of Switzerland, after a 4th and a 5th, has got himself up into 2nd place. Melby of Norway, who started number 25, is in 3rd at the moment, and just pushing his teammate, Nordhagen, the winner from 2 days ago, down into 4th place. The Norwegians are sharing their medals around. If it stays as it is at the moment, that will be Norway on 9 medals. Switzerland with another silver coming their way will have a gold and a silver and 2 bronze. That may just be good enough to put them into 2nd place on their own in the medal table, just ahead of Andorra, who have a gold, a silver and a bronze. And Sweden, well, that will put them actually into 2nd place because they've got another gold. Milbach is taking gold. I will put my house on that. No one's going to touch his time. Absolutely brilliant from the youngster. So that's Sweden's 2nd gold, and they double up today after a poor start. I'm sure the press were giving them a hard time yesterday, having really picked up nothing. Today, they've gone and taken 2 golds. One in the women's junior 10K Classic, and they're going to get gold in the men's 10K Classic as well. Number 100 is Fan Ruhong, 19-year-old. Saw him in the sprints. I think he might well have been 107 out of 107. But he did better in the 20K, finished in 93rd position. He was one of those that was lapped, but he was one of the last to be taken out. So good effort from him. Marinko of Slovenia, number 100. 61 is JWSC of Poland, and his teammate starting just behind him, which is always good in an event like this when you know you're going to be a lot slower than the winners. Just have a little race within a race. Kristinsson from Iceland, some great skiing in Iceland when the wind isn't blowing too strong or the volcanoes aren't polluting the air. They've got all sorts of volcanic activity going on there at the moment. Not sure how the tracks have been. Akureyri, one of the main centres for their Nordic skiing. Well worth a trip. It's really fun, not taken too seriously, but obviously they get a lot of weather. Let's just put it that way. So you have to strike lucky. Yeah, I hear the Blue Lagoon is shut, their #1 tourist attraction. The lava fast approaching. Well, what's quite nice with this format is that most of those starting late on are roughly the same standard. And if they are gaining on someone, it's only slowly. And I think they're all going to feel they've had a cracking good race at the end of the day, even though the margin between themselves and the winner is going to be fairly colossal. That just doesn't matter. I often think there are two types of people, those who want a good race and those who are just interested in winning. Which are you? Borna Naglic. Now that is some ski suit for Croatia this year. He's starting to look a little bit ragged, I think getting very tired. Axel Gutbrod-Daba, number 103, that is Joseph James Peng from Taipei. Barchis of Lithuania, he's looking good, looking really good. Very strong athlete indeed. Now these athletes heading towards the finish. This is Anoa'i Barol of Spain, 105, that's Todorov from Bulgaria, looking strong as well. 69 at the back end of this train that are moving okay. Finn Redburn of Canada, and 107, Maciej Koznar. Now this, for the last starter, he's looking pretty composed, but he has done less than most. He's already caught 104, so he's taken 2 minutes out of Barcic of Lithuania. Who have we got here? Is it 65? Costea of Romania, I think it might be 65 or 68. Yeah, Brazilian colours, must be 68. Sorry, 66, Oliveira. Estev of Argentina. The battle of the South Americans taking place here today. Logan Duncan of Great Britain, good effort. There's a bit of work to be done there on the technique. Stomping his way up the top of the biggest climb. Double poling is looking very healthy indeed. I think he pulled out of the 20k. Saw a good race yesterday by Joe Davies of Great Britain, Canadian British passport holder. Finished in 18th place in the under-23 20k, and I imagine he'll be in action again tomorrow. I haven't seen the start list for tomorrow's race. That will come out sometime this evening. JWSC across the line, 6:43. Wow, it's a big margin, isn't it? It only took Milback 7:26 to do the first lap. Now, this is Bor Petrovic. We've seen him a few times. He's a local, and therefore the camera's focusing on him, but I'm really impressed with his skiing. He is closing in fast on Samuel Meis of Belgium. Not easy to get the wax right, I suspect with the progress in the no-wax skis, that there will be quite a few teams, certainly those that can afford them, may well be racing without the with no-wax skis today. And I'm still pretty sure that Milbeck, the leader, went without any wax at all. But we'll wait until we see the slow-mos to see whether we spot him actually doing any diagonal gate or one-step double pole. Daniel Borrell of Spain across the line, not bad at all, not bad at all, just missing out on a top 50, some way off the leading time. 23:03 is the leading time at the moment. Redmond of Canada, 4:24, 59th position. Barcic of Lithuania struggling. Once that wax stops working, everything, all the load, then goes onto the arms. Saw Logan Duncan going through in that same picture, 64. Martinov from Ukraine, 5:37. Always nice to see the Ukrainians racing. Hats off to them. Many of them have now been away from home for over 2.5 years. It's been very, very tough. Here is Fan, wearing 101. Now, where are we going to see number 75 slot into the picture? We've got 70 finishers, just about 70 finishers across the line so far. Petrovic, last time we saw him, was in 50th position. He's improved on that. He's put in a really good finish. He's gone up into 48. Obviously, with people starting later, there is a chance he'll drop down a couple of places, but I don't think he will. Just seeing if I can see any later starters than that. No, I think he may well be safe. 71, 68th position for Meis of Belgium. He started to struggle on that last lap. 3 laps here today for the 10K, and they do look in a worse state than they were after the 20K freestyle. Yeah, I sometimes think they should all be mic'd up for the race, so we really get to understand just how hard they're working. Val Bjornsson, another of the Icelandic athletes. Now, he's staying out of the tracks. It often feels faster. There tends to be a little bit less moisture if you stay out of the track. It's a bit like running at night. You think you're going faster than you actually are. Yakamarenko. Well, he's done well. He's taken 3 minutes out of number 94, and that's going to be a little bit depressing for Lee of Taipei when he comes through, which he will do inevitably. 95 is Stefancic from Croatia. 77, Grazis of Lithuania. I know how you feel, Mr. Lee. That is a tough climb, a really tough climb. And then to have 4 athletes come past you just as it gets to the steepest bit. I think I would have done the same. Just a little walk to recover. Samuelsson of Iceland. .70 of the 107 across the line. So we've got another 20 minutes or so of these guys. I hope those who started early, well, I assume they've showered and changed already, because they do not want to be hanging around for the full hour in these conditions. And Alvar Mulbach can start his celebrations. He could have started almost as he crossed the line. I think he knew he was absolutely destroying the field. The margin today, the winning margin, sits at 52.4 seconds. So he's been 5 seconds, just a little over 5 seconds quicker on every single kilometre than anyone else. And that is a big, big margin in this game. Isai Neif of Switzerland has to be happy. His first medal. He came here expecting medals, probably more than one, but he's got one. And the Swiss, do they have a chance in the mixed relay? Well, possibly they do. They've got 4 medals between them. Yeah, generally the mixed relays raced over 6 kilometres, sometimes 5. Yeah, I think it's time to experiment. I think it's time to see what a 4x3.5 would look like, how dynamic it would be. As soon as you make it too long, they stay as a group. Once it becomes a genuine sprint distance, then you do see a fairly big margin. Yeah, relay on a sprint course over this sprint course here over 12, just over 1,200 meters. That would be interesting. Certainly be over fairly quickly. What was it? 2.5 minutes, 2.5 to 3 minutes for each round in the sprint event. Winning time in the men's 2:15, I think, by Holmbo in the under 23 category. Yeah, he was very good. So Jaka Marinko, he's got another 3.3 to go. Is he going to make it? Well, he'd better, as he's got a lot of his friends and family here, and there they are. Yeah, he needs that all the way round. He's certainly upped the tempo and upped the power ratio, but as soon as he exits the stadium, he's going to feel awful. Absolutely awful. He's got 3 kilometres to go, just over, and then he'll be back into finish. And he may be wondering why he ever took up cross-country skiing. It's a really, really tough day for racing. The tracks are soaking wet, so much moisture in the track. The skis are sticking and gripping where they should be gliding. It's a tough, tough day out. And of course, they're slipping where they should be sticking. Yeah, everyone's struggling a little bit on this uphill. The strides are getting shorter and shorter. The amount of work the arms have to do goes up and up, which is okay on laps 1 and 2, but by the time you get to lap 3, you're in all sorts of trouble. Slight lack of stability in the core from Borna Naglic there from Croatia, and that again a sign of the fatigue. Well, let's have a look at some of the shots of Sweden's number 1 today, Alvar Mulbach. He started early, started number 2, just 30 seconds ahead of Jürgen Nordhagen, who was the star of the show 2 days ago. But Mulbach didn't take long to catch Steiger, and he just got stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, as a distance athlete, he will do a mass of double poling, and I think that is why this course suited him. 16 was Jonathan Lindberg, a bronze medalist from the sprint. He hasn't made too much of an impression today. Just having a look to see Lindberg, he's in 14th place, not bad, 2:02 off the winning time. Milby, brilliant, got himself into the bronze medal position. Well, you never dismiss someone who's racing for Norway. Naif of Switzerland has pushed their medal tally up one as well, with a silver medal today, 52.4. Only 3 men managed to finish within a minute of this man. The double poling monster, Alvar Mulbach, a name that you need to remember. It's going to be interesting. Does he stick with the distance races where he is outstanding for his age? But some of the coaches must be concerned that he's racing too hard and for too long at 17. But his strength is undeniable. And if he does decide to do the traditional races and race on the World Cup Tour, he's going to make a massive name for himself. And he's going to have a pretty good future. I can just see the meetings in the Swedish Ski Federation. How do we keep him? How do we keep him racing over these shorter distances? Well, here's the hairstyle of the day. You've got to love it, from Thiago Silva of Brazil. Easily picked out on his way around the course today, 7:59. Not bad at all. Goes into 83rd position. He did start 84, but I think he is considerably quicker than some of those behind. Just looking to see, we've just about had 100 athletes through the 6.6, so I'm not sure we're going to see too many more through that stage. Maybe 3 or 4 still out on the course, but there's always a chance that they've finished. Logan Duncan just finishing number 88, and he has gone into 74th position, 5 minutes 50 down on the best. That is a huge margin, and the tougher the conditions, the bigger the margin will always be. Yeah, a day for the double polars, but you do need to be incredibly strong, because this is not an easy course. World Championship course from last year, and we've seen many athletes try it and fail. I think only on certain days does it really work, and it's days when the waxing is nigh on impossible. Still got another 32 or so to finish. And Jakob Marinko is on his way. 97, Emil Christensen from Denmark. The Danes generally base themselves in Norway to get the training in. Denmark, as you all know, very, very flat. They occasionally get snow, and I know a few of the Danish team who use the local golf courses when that happens, but a couple of days a year. So if they're serious about this, they have to move into Norway. A lot of them work there and train at the same time. It's a different ball game to the big teams who are full-time athletes, as you would expect. Yeah, perhaps you have different races. Stimac of Croatia. He's at 9:29 behind. And I don't know whether it's the ski suit that's making my eyes go funny or the technique, but he is one tired man. And that's how you should be as you come towards the end of the race. There shouldn't be much left out there. '95, Stefancic. Well, he's taken 30 seconds out of Jihan Lee. Well, these two could have a good race to the line. Well, if you've just joined us, let's just recap on the top positions today. There's no one else out on the course who is going to threaten the top 25, and that would be an outstanding. I don't think there's anyone out there who's going to threaten the top 50, to be honest. Milbach is safe. He's the gold medalist today, 23:05. He has double poled his way around this classic course and destroyed everyone else. Isai Naif of Switzerland, delighted to see him get on the podium. He certainly deserves it after being so close in both the sprint and the 20k. He's in second. Melby of Norway started 25. He was the last of the big names to start, and he took full advantage of that. He fed off the splits, and he knew he had a second in hand over his teammate Nordhagen, and he managed to push Nordhagen off the podium. Steiger in the end of Switzerland pushed down a 5. Philip Skari made it 3 Norwegians in the top 6, and Sweden with Anton Gran in 7. We've got Lars Hagen, the sprint winner, down in 8th position, 1:24 behind. And Hagen at halfway was down in 5th position, so he faded a little bit. But then again, you'd expect a good sprinter to fade at the back end of a 10k race, although there are athletes who can do both. And extraordinary how, you know, Petter Northug, he won the sprint in Falun at the Worlds, and he won the 50k. Klæbo last year here in Planica, he won the sprint and he was second in the 50k, missing out by fractions of a second. As we watch Marinko into the finish, he's had a good last lap. We saw him go through the stadium at 6,600, and he's hung on in there. He's got the margin down to 6:06. That's not bad at all, and he's the best place finisher for a while. So well done to him, having started number 100. Jaka Marinko. We're just having a look to see if everyone has gone through the 8.5 kilometer stage. We've got 99 through there. We did, as I mentioned, have quite a few non-starters. No one gets lapped in a time trial event, so no one being pulled out of the race unless they want to stop. Yeah, I think they're all through. So we've only got a few tail enders to come in here in Planica. Arionas Puras from Lithuania. This is Peng of Taipei. So just trying to compare the speeds to a park run. Yeah, 23:05. So Milbach, twice as quick as your average park run speed. What's a good 10K time? Must be around, world best must be what, 27, 28 minutes, so it's a good 5 minutes quicker than that. Generally, in the freestyle races, they're clocking speeds of around 28K an hour. In the classic, it tends to be a couple of kilometers an hour slower, and that's, you know, largely due to the fact that you've got grip wax on the bottom of your skis, which slow you down every time you're standing either on one ski or going downhill. So that makes a massive difference. Koznar, well, that's good. That's really good from Koznar. The last man to start from the Czech Republic. He's far from the last man to finish, and he's taken a good 6 or 7 minutes out of Lee of Taipei. Slowest time so far, 32:02. For 10K, it's still pretty respectable. It wouldn't do too badly at the British Championships, I can promise you that. So Mühlbach, still unofficial, but there won't be any changes in this first sheet. Norway, Sweden, noticeable by their presence. The Swiss with 2 in the top 5. It's been a really, really good week for Switzerland. And is this the Dario Colonia effect? I think it may well be. They've got so many more juniors coming into the sport. And it's also the fact that we've had so many more World Cups in Switzerland over recent years. Goms hosting one this year. Lenzerheide hosting a biathlon World Cup this year for the first time. And of course, Lenzerheide, the host nation for the Biathlon World Championships next year. So Switzerland is putting itself on the map, and already they are reaping the rewards. So we've known the winner for some, what, an hour almost. Yeah, never the most exciting format when you put the strongest skiers first. But that's the way it is at these Junior World Championships. And Mühlbach has taken full advantage of slightly cleaner tracks. Obviously no one out there. He started number 2. He got a clean run on his first run. It wasn't long before he went past Nicholas Steiger. But I give Steiger credit. He's not gone away with a medal, but he did hang on in there. Further down the order, Romania with Costiu in 75. Meis of Belgium 76, just ahead of Duncan of Great Britain at 5:50 the margin. But I think we're just about done, and certainly the first 100 are in. 2 DNSs, so maybe 5 athletes still out on the track. I don't think they'll do any interviews until everyone has crossed the line. There's one lone skier, Ruel Hong Fan. He's going to end up about 11, maybe 12 minutes behind, which is about a lap and a half for Alva Mühlbach. Well, he's certainly fulfilled his promise today, hasn't he? There was, massive amount of interest in him in Sweden. Obviously, they are waiting for their next big champion. They've got so close in the past, but it does seem a long, long time ago that Gunde Svan and Thomas Vasberg were dominating world skiing. You have to go back to the 80s when they were the #1 nation. And slightly frustrating for them that their neighbours have been the #1 for many, many years now. It's to do with culture, it's to do with money.
Crosses the finish line, 11 points for his 69. So one champion, so 3 more athletes to come.
So well done, the fan. Here's our winner. Let's see what he has to say.
Congratulations, third today. How did you feel during the race?
Pretty well, and I skied pretty fast, so third place is a good placement.
Very nice. Are you happy about how the skis were today?
Yeah, I like this weather.
Okay.
Only the toughest survive, so it's good.
Kan du gjenta på norsk?
Ja. Kun de tøffeste tåler det før her, og da følte jeg mestra det godt.
Tusen takk.
So that was Mons Melby. He's got the bronze medal, but he's been hanging around for a long, long time. So you can understand the lack of enthusiasm. I think he wants to get back, get some rest, get himself into shape for the mixed relays on Sunday. Because I think with that performance today, he may well be in the team. Nordhagen also will certainly be taking one of the freestyle leg. But Melby, absolutely right. A positive attitude towards the conditions. Only the tough survive when it gets tough. We've seen it and heard it many, many times before. And actually, we've seen it a few times this week. Nordhagen himself, he said, these conditions are perfect for me, while everyone else was moaning and grumbling that they weren't good enough for a Junior World Championships. But there's nothing you can do about the weather. And you can't make snow that can survive at 6 degrees. It's just not possible. So you might as well accept it and understand that the conditions are going to make some of the strong athletes perform badly. And that is your opportunity to shine. So well done to Melby. He's got the bronze medal, finished behind Isai Neif. What was the margin? 4 seconds. 4 seconds in the end. Melby actually had an advantage of only 0.3 seconds, but going through the halfway, the Swiss and the Norwegian athletes pretty much tied for the second position. Mulbach had already pulled a long way clear by that stage.
Alvar, congratulations, first title today. How did you feel during the race?
Thank you. Already before the start, it felt amazing. My weather and pretty tough conditions, and the whole race felt amazing. So I'm so glad to do this. Yeah. Ja, det kändes jättebra. Hårt race och tuffa förhållanden. Passar mig och få göra det på mitt sätt och staka. Det är bara helt underbart. Är det norsk?
Nej, men man kan snacka norsk. Sorry,
So there's your champion, Alvar Mulbach, who has got himself the gold medal, and almost exactly the same words as Melby. Tough conditions, my conditions. I felt fantastic. Well, he looked pretty good, didn't he? And by 700 meters, he had the lead. By 2 kilometers, he was already 10 seconds clear